What's going on, open house hosters, automators, realtors, team leaders, anybody who might be using SignSnap Home or automations in their workflows? So, get started, you might be looking at this and going, what in the world is this if you've never used n8n before? But if you have used n8n before, this might be a little familiar to you. But either way, what this workflow allows you to do is sync your open house leads directly to your CRM of choice, send them follow-ups for 7 days after, and keep track of everything in a Google Sheet. So zooming in a little bit, you're going to see that I have a few things disconnected and turned off here. You're going to turn on and reconnect these depending on which one you need just by dragging and dropping, and you can remove the ones you don't need by clicking the little trash cans on the line. So that's kind of the gist of n8n if you've never used it before, but jumping right into it, we are going to look at this first webhook here. This first webhook, you are going to copy and go right back into your SignSnap Home account. If you've used SignSnap Home before, some of this stuff will be familiar, but if you've never used it, this is all going to be brand new. So you're going to be taken to your dashboard. You're going to create a sign-in sheet if you want to right off the bat. Otherwise, you can save it for later. But you're going to jump right into your integrations here, and you are going to add a webhook. I already added mine here into this n8n drip, but you're going to copy and paste that one that we just grabbed. You're going to want to make sure you turn on the auto button when you're setting it up as well. So coming back over to n8n, once you have everything configured or disabled, because I don't have like Twilio or this email node set up because I don't have those credentials set up yet, so I just disabled them. To do that, that's going to allow you to do this listen for test event, and then once that's happening, we're going to go back to our SignSnap Home. Go to our dashboard, and once you created your sheet, we're going to go into the live view to act like we're a guest at an open house. We're going to start the sign-in. If I can spell my name. These SignSnap Home forms are fully customizable. You can disable or enable any field that you want. You can use custom questions right here. They have conditional logic. That's the word I was looking for. So as you saw there, I click no in advanced. If I say yes, now it's going to ask me if I signed a buyer agreement. So you could see why that could be handy as an agent. I will add the email here because I'm going to need that for my testing. That is not a real email that exists, but it does validate for an actual email structure, so people can't just give you random things. I answered 4 for what did I rate the house there. And now if we jump back to n8n, what we will see here is that all of that information was sent to the webhook. So if we advance on to this parse data here, it's going to have all of that stuff, and we're going to execute the step just so we can walk through the back end and show you what this kind of would do. So it's going to validate some stuff, it's going to check and sort some information there, give them a lead score, so on and so forth. Now it's going to check if they have an email, because most CRMs require you to have an email, and if they didn't enter it, it won't move forward. But the good thing about SignSnap Home is you can enable or disable required fields and make sure you get an email. It's pretty simple. So moving forward, we just executed that and it checked if it had an email. And what it's going to do there is it's going to move on to the log master sheet. So if you go back to the workflow, you're going to see the blue boxes have instructions on how to set this up. I have already set up my Google Sheet. There's a little bit of a process to share this if you've never used n8n before, but the documentation will walk you through all of that stuff. So I've set up my 3 sheets here and pasted in the correct fields that we need at the top. And this is the general log, so I'm going to stay on that one, and then we're going to come back here. So you can see all these green fields. That just shows all of the mappings and stuff over here are linked up properly, and we're going to go ahead and execute. So now you can see node executed successfully, and if we just quickly go back here to the sheet, we can see that instantly it's added it in there. So that's just the logging section. Now if we move on to our HubSpot create contact, looks like I am going to need to fix these real quick. That's pretty simple though. n8n just allows you to drag and drop things. So I will update my membership notes and all of that stuff, which is in here. Boom. Oh, gotta make sure I drop it in the right spot. Go to, and once you download this, this will already be pre-configured for you. I just made an error in my mistake. So drag a phone number in and everything is good to go. And what we'll see here is if I execute this, oops, I'm gonna have to check in on, oh, well, it's because I didn't fix this, of course. That is pretty obvious in hindsight. Now we'll execute the step. And everything is good. So if I go in and check my HubSpot right now, I'm going to have a new contact with all of that information in there. So going back to the workflow, you can see how far we've gone so far. So if you're going to use Follow Up Boss, Monday.com, Keep, pretty much any CRM is going to be supported in this. You're just going to drag and drop that over and disable or delete the other ones. So back here at this Has Email step, you're going to connect this back up to this email node. You're going to come in here. You're going to create a credential, and then you're going to set up your email, your SMTP email. So Gmail supports this. Pretty much every email provider is going to support this. You log in and you set everything up in here. Of course, I need to wire that up and probably have to update these, but it should work out of the box because it didn't pass through this node previously. So it should have all that information. But if not, you saw how I just dragged and dropped it. So moving on, we would see that it would log an error if they did not have an email, and then we're on this qualifies for follow-up step. So we already have this information here. We are going to delete that because it clearly was not wired up. So like I said, once you download this workflow, I'm going to have everything updated, and I just need to find the correct thing, and that is going to be in here, I believe. Qualifies for follow-up. I don't know why that's null. I'm gonna have to look into that. Oh, it's because I said yes to having an agent, so that is why that would be blank. So that is working as intended. I just thought I used the other option there. So that would be good. And we're going to execute this, and it's going to not move forward because if we look at this, it's going to say qualify for follow-up. Let's execute this step because what it would do there is it's going to wait 2 days. See, no fields, node executed. But then it would not send. So this would be where you connect your Twilio account here. You're going to create a credential just as we did with email. Like I said, you might have to wire this up because I do not have a Twilio, so I'm unable to test all that up. So long story short, if you're looking for powerful automations and looking to modify this to fit your own workflow, this is just an example of what you can do with SignSnap Home and powerful tools like n8n and make.com. You can do custom drip campaigns, you can enrich your lead data by sending it to AI, doing LinkedIn research, Instagram research, Facebook research. The possibilities are really unlimited with this. I unfortunately did not go through the entire workflow of this today, but that's just because I don't have some of these credentials set up. But when you get this final workflow and you download it in the link in the description, all of this should be ready to go for you. You're just gonna have to hook up the credentials that you need. And if you don't need any of these steps here, like if you want to skip the Twilio and replace it with an email, you can just copy and paste any of these nodes to where you need. And if you want more complete, much more simple nodes, go ahead and check the videos that we have down there below, because you'll find a few basic ones, just like basic syncing, basic emailing, because this is definitely on the more complicated side. This is just to showcase the powers and capabilities that n8n and SignSnap Home can do in unison. So like and follow for more of this content, and if you're looking to up your open house game, check out SignSnap Home. Link for everything that you'll need for this and more is down in the description below. Signing off, SignSnap Home. Have a good one.